One of my favorite things that we do here at the station is active with the Stamp Out Hunger by the National Association of Letter Carriers. And Josh Estrella is here with us this morning. Good morning, Josh. Glad to have you along.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
This is a big deal, and you were telling me that you've been active with this since 1993. This is a nationwide effort to be able to help all the food banks around the whole nation try to restock them and let the patrons that usually stick letters in their mailboxes, trying to stick some food in it and help out with all the food banks that we have.
That is correct. This is the single largest food drive in the United States. Since the start of 93, the letter carriers across the nation have brought in over 1 billion pounds of food for their local food banks. And we just hope to help that tradition continue here in Reno County.
I got to ask you, how much does it slow you down that day? And I know people can put them out even a couple of days earlier if they wish to, but it has to slow you down a little bit on your regular routes.
Yes, it takes a little time extra to get out and stack the food up in our trucks, but we know that it's an important thing for our community. We enjoy doing it, and we have retired carriers that come out and help us get through the day. They'll take some food off of us and take it back to the post office for processing with the folks from Reno County Food Bank. So we enjoy it. It's a one-time thing, and it's something that we need to be doing for our community. So it's just all in all, it's just a good day.
These pantries have been getting hit more and more with the cost of food that's up there. Employment's always tough. It takes a lot now to be able to raise a family and keep food on the table, and this really helps supplement them in many, many ways.
Yes, and it seems like every year there's more and more families that need help. We are called on to help out in our community as much as we can, and this is one way that every member of this community can give back to their community. All the food that we collect here around the city stays right here in the Reno County area. And so we just hope that we have a big increase in food that we bring in this year from last year. It really does make an impact in our food bank and fills up their shelves very nicely.
I know you want the non-perishable items, but say if somebody was able to stick a check in an envelope or even cash an envelope, would that go a long way? Is that recommended, or what's your thoughts on that?
Yes, we do pick up monetary donations. If you write a check, just make sure you fill it out to the Reno County Food Bank. I just ask you that you put it in an envelope, mark it with the Reno County Food Bank on the outside. You do not need to put a stamp on the outside of it. If you want to give cash, I would do the same thing, put an envelope, label it Reno County Food Bank, put it in your mailbox with your flag up so the letter carrier will know to stop that day, and we will make sure that the folks at the Reno County Food Bank receives that money.
The May 10th coming up this Saturday is the main day that you started off with, but I know if folks are going to be out of town possibly, they may be able to put something in their mailbox, a sack, and you can just use a regular plastic sack and stick things in there. What's the most popular items that you think the food bank would like to give? Macaroni and cheese, things like that?
Yes, vegetables, fruit, cereal, peanut butter, jelly. Basically, they're not too picky. They need a little bit of everything. We just ask that you do not put anything outside in glass. Unfortunately, with the banging around in the back of our vehicles and the processing of the foods, those seem to break, and we just have to throw those things away. But yeah, you can put them out in your mailbox as soon as you get your card and your sack in the mail, which we usually start delivering the Tuesday before. If you're out of town and you just want to do it then so you don't forget, that's fine. Or if you forget and you realize Monday morning that you didn't make your donation, we'll pick it up the following week as well.
Such a big event to be able to do. And is it weighed? How do you figure out how many pounds of food that's been donated?
Yeah, what we do is the letter carrier will back up their LLV to the dock, and we'll unload it. We'll put it on a nutty truck. We weigh the nutty truck, take that weight, subtract the weight of the nutty truck, and then that's how we keep track of the food that each carrier will receive. And then we keep track of it, and we kind of have an inside little game that we play to see who brings in the most food. That way they have bragging rights for that year.
That's what I was going to ask you next. Is there some rock, paper, scissors betting going on here to see who's going to bring in the most and see who can bring in the most?
Yeah, we can usually guess what routes usually bring in the most weight, but it's fun to see those mail trucks backing up to the dock when you can tell that they're bogged down a lot. And when they open that back door and it's just full of food and things like that, it makes it for a fun day.
What I highly recommend is for folks, if you're going to go shopping at Dillon's or wherever you might shop at, Aldi, wherever, is to kind of just walk around and pick, like you said, peanut butter, maybe peanut butter and jelly. Some of the heavier, the better,
Yeah.
right, Josh, to some extent. But put the sack together right then you don't have to pull it out of your pantry necessarily. You really don't want expired items. That's something you don't want. So just having a little extra sack to be able to help folks out. And like I said, macaroni and cheese, all those things that a family is going to be able to stretch into several meals. So that would be a good way to do it and make it a little bit easier on everybody.
That is correct.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to step aside. We're talking with, again, Josh Estrella. He is with the National Association of Letter Carriers, and, of course, he's with the post office here locally as we have our Stamp Out Hunger event coming up on this Saturday, May 10th. We'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back, chatting with Josh Estrella, who is with the local letter carriers here. The National Association of Letter Carriers has been doing this a long time, and this is a national event. Is there any competition between the states? And did the post office here register? How did you all get involved with this for so long?
Yeah, we registered through our national union, which is located in Washington, D.C. They send us the postcards that you'll get in the mail. Our union went out and bought the plastic sacks that we'll be delivering with the cards. And then after the event is over, we submit how much we brought in to the National Association of Letter Carriers in D.C. And then we get a published magazine once a month, and they'll have all the weight brought in from every community that participated in the United States. So it's kind of fun to see how much each city and every state brings in for that day.
Our point person here is Rob Dreher, who lines you up to be able to do this interview as well as he gets sponsors. Well, several of our salespeople get sponsors for this event, and you guys like to be able to thank those sponsors individually because without them, we would not be able to do this as well.
Yes, this is a community event, even though we are the ones that are collecting the food. The food bank brings in 10 to 15 people to help out as well. We appreciate all the sponsors to help make this possible. This is a community-wide event, and it takes all of us to make this happen. You
said something earlier about the fact that there's even some retired carriers that come out and help out. That tells me something that this really means more to you guys than maybe you can even be able to describe, because to be able to help somebody. Hunger is one of the biggest and worst things to have happen to you. A lot of folks know how it is to be hungry and live from meal to meal, and this can help them get a little bit farther out. But your retirees even stepping out, that's a pretty big statement.
Yeah, they look forward to coming back, even though they're not the ones out there delivering the mail anymore. They like to come out and do what they can, picking up food, help processing it. We've had carriers bring their kids. We've had Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, church communities come help. We just try to find a way for people in the community to make an impact.
Again, like you indicated, a little bit later this week, you'll be receiving postcards in the mail along with the sack, and you can use other sacks if you have others to give. Grab an old Dillon's bag or whatever and stick it out there. And what time should people people pretty well know when their mail's coming, but what time should they get it out there? As early as they can in the morning? Yeah,
you never know what time you're going to get your mail for that day. So as soon as you wake up, you can put it out there. If it doesn't fit inside your mailbox, just stick it on the ground. We'll see the sack sitting out there, and we'll just drive up and pick it up as we go by.
Well, how long have you? I said 1993 is when it started. How long have you been involved with it, Josh?
I've been a letter carrier since 2006, so quite a while, and just always look forward to this day, getting all the carriers together and helping out the community the best we can.
So last year, is there an individual that won with the most weight of those items solicited?
Yeah, it's Route 26, which is the west side of town, up off of Hendricks, around the 24th street area. As a total for our town, we brought in a little over 18,800 pounds, which was up about 1,600 pounds from the year before. Before COVID hit, we were bringing in almost 30,000 pounds, so we've taken a big hit since COVID, and we'd like to hit that 20,000 pound mark this year if we can.
Kind of the goal that you have this year is 20,000 pounds?
Yes,
overall?
we'd like to get up in the 20,000 pound mark.
That is outstanding. And I know the Reno County Food Bank, they do so much to help out around this area. They really do a great job. I know a lot of volunteers that work for that, and they're probably shoring up their manpower as well, because you guys will be getting that to them just as soon as possible. And it's such an important type of thing. So it has to feel good to kind of pay it forward a little bit, do something that helps your fellow man.
That is true, and I think we are called to help our fellow man out. The Reno County Food Bank will get to the post office about 2 o'clock on that Saturday with their crew. We'll start processing it. They just have a truck that just goes back and forth once the letter carriers start coming back with pallets of food. And we usually wrap it up around 6 or 7 o'clock. So it's about a 5-6 hour time frame by the time we unload the trucks to where we get everything processed, broken down, and sent to the Reno County Food Bank. I
can imagine that there's a lot of trucks that are involved more than usual, because not only are you delivering mail, you're also picking up these items. So just to reiterate again, it's coming up this Saturday on May 10th. Be able to put your non-perishable items out there, and you'll be receiving a postcard and then the sack will go along with that to put your items in. And like I said, go to the store, pick out a couple different bags of different things that you know, like peanut butter and jelly and all those items. Make sure it weighs a lot so we can get that weight up there and try to set a record there. Have it out there on Saturday. If you're not going to be at home this weekend, get it put out a little bit earlier than that. And like you said, you will take monetary donations if people want to put it in an envelope and mark who is for. And that would be a good way to be able to give as well, possibly if you're not going to be around. So, Josh, thank you very much. Thank your other letter carriers that help you be able to put this together. And we thank our sponsors as well that make this possible.
Well, I appreciate you having me once again. And I'm just asking for the community to let's make this day the best one ever.
Stamp out hunger this year for 2025. Again, the National Association of Letter Carriers. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more on KWBW right after this.